Hello, welcome to my class. So today we'll talk about measurement. So what is measurement? So from the textbook, the measurement is a number that describes the size or the amount of something. You can measure many things like the length, area, capacity, weight, temperature, and the time. In United States, two main systems of measurement are used: the metric system and the US customary measurement system. So today we're going to adjust the measurement of length using the US customary measure systems. Okay, think about that. What do we use in our day-to-day life? Such as when you do baking, you will talk about, hey, you need 1 cup of flour, you need 1 tablespoon of salt, and then maybe when you go to do groceries, we want 3 pounds of apples. When you're trying to buy a house, you want the house to be 4,000 square feet. All of these I talked about to measure the object that you're trying to purchase. That is the measurement. Okay, so today we're going to discuss the measurement, the unit of length, the unit of weight, and the unit of capacity. Okay, so for unit of length, we have, based on the US customary system, we totally have 4 units. We have inches, foot, yard, and miles. So in here, you should know that, hey, inches is the 1 inches is the smallest unit, and then 1 foot, and then less than 1 yard, and the largest one is 1 mile. Okay, so you want to use the accurate measurement to measure something, such as when you talked about, hey, some people trying to donate their hair to be made into wigs, or cancer patient who had lost their hair as a result of treatment. So when you measure the length of your hair, you usually will use inches. You don't use miles because miles is too big when it comes to small objects. So when it comes to the front size of bike, the distance from the center of the crown on top of the seat tube, the frame size is usually measured in inches. Okay, for a slightly larger object, such as rug or carpet, we will use foot. But of course, you can still use inches, but use foot, it makes more sense in this case. And also when it comes to football field, we will use yard. You might heard that, hey, this football field is 100 and 113 yards. Okay, so when it comes to like running distance or from location A to location B, since it's longer distance, we usually will use miles instead of feet, right? You won't say, hey, from Olympia to Seattle is probably 16 miles away, but you won't say how many inches away. I don't know how many inches away. It sounds like a really big number. So that's why we don't use it. So here it says, so you can use any of these measurement unit to describe the length of something, but it's just make more sense that use certain object for certain purposes. Just like what I'm saying about, hey, you don't try to measure how many inches from Olympia to Seattle, right? Okay, so here is some measure convertment, how to convert between units. Okay, 1 foot equals to 12 inches, because remember our size, inches is the smallest one. Sorry. And then to foot, the next unit is foot, and then the next one would be yard. The next one would be miles. So notice that from a small unit to a bigger unit, you need to divide their conversion factors. So from a bigger unit to a smaller unit, you need to multiply the conversion factors. So for example, in here, 1 foot equals to 12 inches. So that means from foot to inches, you want to times 12. If you're doing the opposite, from inches from foot to foot, you want to divide it by 12. That's the conversion factor. And then 1 yard equal to 3 feet. So that means from foot to yard, you want to divide it by 3. And then from yard, 1 yard to foot, a larger unit to a smaller unit, you want to times the factor. So you want to times 3. And then next, 1 yard, oh wow, now they tell you that 1 mile is equals to 5,280 feet. Woo! That is a huge jump. So from mile to foot, you want to times 5,280. And then from foot to mile, you want to divide it by 5,280. But between this unit, you can definitely convert it inches to yard or mile to yard. So they can just convert each by each. So now how to do this one? Think about it. If you want to convert it inches, let me change the color of the pen. If you want to convert it inches to yard, what would you do? So because between inches and yard, there is a foot, right? So you can either convert it to foot first, and then from foot to yard. That will work. So that means from inches to foot, you need to times 12. Divided by 12. And then from foot to yard, you need to divide another 3. So that means you need to, after divided 12, you need to divide it 3. So totally, you need to divide it by 36. Okay, let's use the miles as our examples. So we know that, hey, 1 mile equals to 5,218 foot. So that means, okay, so 5,218 foot equals to how many yards? What would you do? You need to divide it by, since it's a smaller unit, convert it to a bigger unit. So you want to divide it the conversion factor. So that means you want to divide it 5,000, you want 5,218 divided by 3. So that means, I don't know, let me use a calculator to calculate it. 5,218 divided by 3, okay, is 1,760. So that means 1 mile equals to 1,716. So the conversion factor between yard and miles would be 1,716. Okay, so here is some examples. So how many inches are in feet? First of all, we need to know which is the bigger number, which is the bigger conversion, which is the smaller unit. So feet is the bigger unit than inches, right? So that means from a bigger unit to a smaller one, what would you do? You want to times the conversion factor. So what's the conversion factor between feet and inches? 1 foot equals to 12 inches. So that means we want to times 12. So now we have 3 feet and 3.5. So first of all, you want to convert this into a fraction, I'm sorry. So what would be the factor? 3.5. So this is equal to what? 3 times 2 plus 1 over 2, right? Which gives you 7.5. So that means 3.5 feet is equal to 7.5 feet. So now we want to use 7.5 feet times our conversion factor. So we simplify it. So we have 6 times 7. So it's 14.2. So that means 3.5 feet equals to 13.2 inches. Okay, so now let's take a look at another examples. In here, how many yard is 7 feet? So now we want to convert feet to yard. Which one is the larger unit? Feet is a smaller unit, yard is a larger unit. From a smaller unit to a larger unit, what do you want to do? You want to divide the converter unit, the conversion factor. So what is the conversion factor? We know that 1 yard equals to 3 feet. So that means the conversion factor would be 3. So now I have 7 feet. You want to divide it by 3. So that means you can write it into fraction. You don't need to use a calculator to calculate it. So that means 7 feet equals to 7/3 yard. Okay. Or, you can write it into a more simplified way, which is 2 1/3. You can keep it either way. I'm fine with it. Okay, so now try it now. How many feet are in 2.5 miles? So now we want to convert it feet. We want to convert a mile to feet, right? So mile is a larger number and feet is a smaller number, right? Smaller unit. I can say numbers. So now first of all, we need to know their conversion factor. So from a larger unit to a smaller unit, we want to times the conversion unit. So the conversion unit is what? 5,280. So how many miles in here? 2.5. So first of all, you want to convert the 2.5 into a proper fraction way, which is 5/2. So now we use 5/2 to times the conversion factor. So we have what? Let me do this very quick on my calculator. You divide it by 2 first. So you have 2,640, and then times 5. We have 13,200. So that means 2.5 miles is equal to 13,200 feet. Okay, so now last one in this application problem. So an interior decor needs to board trim for home she is wallpapering. She needs 50 feet board trim for the living room and 13 feet board trim for the bedroom and the 26 feet board trim for the dining room. And then 26 feet for the dining room. So how many yards of bottom trim does she need? Okay, so now be careful. Now they ask you what? How many yards does she need? But the bottom trim that they're given is in feet. So that means what? We need to convert the feet into yard. Okay, first of all, we need to know how many total. The total number of bottom trim, the total length of the bottom trim that she needs for all of these 3 rooms. So totally we have what? 15 plus 30 plus 26. So totally is 71 feet. Again, from feet to yard is the smaller unit to a larger unit. So that means we need to times the conversion factor. So 1 yard equals to how many feet? 1 yard equals to 3 feet. So that means you want to times 3. Oh, I'm sorry. When you're converting a smaller unit to a larger unit, you want to divide them. I catch myself. So you want to divide by the conversion factor. So now I want to use 71 feet divided by 3. So how do you calculate this? Well, divided by 3 is equivalent to times 1/3. So that is 17/3 yard. Okay. So here is help you to simplify it. You can do it or not doing it, but do you want me to show you how to simplify it? Okay, so let's try it. So 71 you can write it as 69 plus 2, right? So this is 71. So 69 plus 2, so we can write as 69 divided by 3 plus 2/3. And 69 divided by 3 is equal to what? 23. So that's why it's 23 and 2/3. Okay. So next is here, two runners are comparing how much they had trained earlier the day. Joe says, according to the pedometer, I ran 8.3 miles, and Alice says there is a mile more than I ran. I ran 8.2 miles. How many more miles did Joe run than Alice? So first of all, we need to know the differences, right? So we know that, hey, Joe, if you don't know, you can just label it. Joe ran 8.3 miles and Alice ran 8.1 miles. And then we use 8.3 minus 8.1 so that you will find out the differences, how much more Joe ran than Alice. So Joe ran 0.2 miles more than Alice. Okay, but however, they ask you how many more feet. Now they're giving you the miles. So that means we want to convert it mile to feet. Okay, from a bigger unit to a smaller unit, we need to what? Times or divided by the conversion unit. Conversion factor. We need to times it, right? We want to times the conversion factor. So in this case, 1 mile equals to 5,280 feet. So that means we want to use the miles times 5,280. So we have the feet. So we have 0.2 times this. So that they will have 1,056 feet. So that means Joe ran 1,056 feet further than Alex. Okay, so now here, this is really interesting. So sometimes when we're in the store, you're trying to think about, hey, which you have two brands of tissues or two types of meat or two types of different product. You want to see, hey, which one has a better deal. So that means we need to what? We need to find which one costs less per unit, but you have to use the same unit, right? So now take a look. 3 yard of tubing A costs $5.49, and tubing B sells $1.88 for 2 feet. So how do you compare this since they're using different units? So the first step is you want to make it easier to compare. So that means you want to convert them into the same unit. Okay, so which one would you do? Do you want to convert in a yard to feet or feet to yard? Which way do you think is easier? I would definitely use a bigger unit and convert it into a smaller unit, because then you times a conversion factor, which is 1 yard equals to 3 feet. Why would I want to do multiplication instead of division? Because when you try to divide it by something, you might end up to have not a whole number, a fraction. I know that you don't like fraction. We don't like fraction. You want to always try to keep it as whole number. So it would be easier if you converted yard to feet. But of course, you can definitely convert feet to yard. It's totally work. But I just want to do the simplest way. Okay, so now your 3 yard of tubing A costs that amount of money. So let's see. 3 yard of tubing A is equals to how many feet? So if I times 3, I will have 9 feet, right? So that means 9 feet of tubing A costs $5.49, and tubing B sell for $1.88 for 2 feet. So now we need to take it to what? Which one is cheaper, right? So that means we're trying to find out how much does tubing A or B cost per feet. If we find out about that, then we will find out, hey, which one is cheaper per unit, right? Okay, so since tubing A 9 feet costs $5.49, so that means each feet of tubing A costs what? We use $5.49 divided by 9, so we will find out, hey, how much does it cost for each feet. So let me do it with my calculator. So I have 61 cents per feet. Okay, now we still need to calculate tubing B. So we have tubing B sell for $1.88 for 2 feet. So that means each feet is going to cost what? $1.88 divided by 2, which is 94 cents per feet for tubing B. So which one is cheaper? Tubing A, right? Because the cost per unit is 61 cents, cheaper than tubing B. Okay, next. Okay, let's try this one. A fence company is measuring a rectangular area in order to install a fence around the perimeter. If the length of the rectangular area is 113 yards and the width is 75 feet, 113 yards and 75 feet, what is the total length of the distance to be fences? So now take a look. You know that, hey, this is rectangular. The length is 113 yard, and then the width is 75 feet. So which one would you convert? Do you want to convert it a smaller unit to a bigger unit, or do you want to convert a bigger unit to a smaller unit? So we talked about that. In real life, we want to make things more appropriate when we're trying to pick up when we choose the measuring unit. Since this is a fences, we usually will use yard instead of feet. So 1 yard equals to how many feet? 3 feet, right? So that means when you're trying to convert it a smaller unit to a bigger unit, you want to divide it by the conversion factor. So I have 75 divided by 3, which is equal to 25. So that means the width is 25 yard. So what would be the total perimeter? So total perimeter, we have what? 25, since you have 2 widths, right? These 2. And then plus 2 lengths, which is 113 times 2. So I have 50 plus 260, which is 310 yard. That's the total length for the fences. Okay, so the next part we were talking about the weight of the unit. So there are totally 3 types of weight of unit. We have ounces, the smallest one, and then we have pound, and then we have the largest one is ton. Okay, so when do we use ounces? Like 1 ounce can measure a lighter object. When it comes to pound, is medium object. When ton is definitely a larger object. So from the small to the largest units. So now here's the converter unit. 1 pound equals to 16 ounces, and then 1 ton equals to 2,000 pounds. Okay. So again, ounces is the smallest one, and then the medium would be the pound, and then to ton. Okay, so now let's try it. So now how many ounces are in 2 1/4 pounds? Again, so what's the first step? The first step is you want to write these into appropriate fraction form, right? 2 1/4 is equal to 9/4 pound. So now let's take a look. We want to convert it pound to ounces. We know that 1 pound equals to 16 ounces. Okay, so our converter factor would be 16. So pound is greater than ounces. So from a bigger unit to a smaller unit, you want to times the conversion factor, which means you times 16. So now we have 9/4 times 16. So cross cancel, you have 4. 9 times 4 is equal to 13/6. Oops. So that means 2 1/4 pound equal to 13/6 ounces. Okay, what about here? How many tons in 6,500 pounds? So we have tons to pounds. So what would be the conversion unit? 1 ton equals to 2,000 pounds. Oh, I'm sorry, conversion factor. So the conversion factor would be 2,000. So from ton to pound, from a larger unit to a smaller unit, that we need to what? Oh, I'm sorry, from pound to ton. I got this wrong again. This is what? From a smaller unit to a larger unit, we need to divide it by the conversion factor. We want to divide it by 2,000. So now with what? 6,500 divided by 2,000. So that is equal to 6,500 divided by 2,000. We use fraction. Cross cancel with 65/20. Common factor 5. We divide it by 5 on the top and bottom. So I have 15. So I 15 over 4 tons. And now you still need to simplify it. So 15 you can write as what? 12 plus 3 over 4. So that means I have 3 and 3/4 tons. It's in here. Okay, now you can do the ounces by yourself. Okay, application problem. Okay, so the application problem is a municipal trash facility allowed a person to throw away a maximum of 13 pounds of trash per week. Last week, 140 people threw away a maximum allowable trash. How many tons of trash did this equal? So first of all, you need to know what's the total amount of trash that people throw it away. So 13 pounds per person, right? 13 pounds per person. You totally have 114 people throw the trash away. So the total should be 114 times 13 pounds. You totally get 42,000 pounds of trash being thrown away last week. And then the next step is they ask how many tons of trash did this equal? So you want to convert the pound, which is a smaller unit, to a larger unit. So that means you need to divide it by the conversion factor. So 1 ton equals to 2,000 pounds. So that means the conversion factor is 2,000. You want to use 42 pounds divided by 2,000. So with what? 42 pounds divided by 2,000. So we have to have 14,200 divided by 2,000. Divided by 100 on both on the top and bottom. We have 14,200 divided by 20. And then you divide it by common factor 2. You have a 21 over 10. And then we convert it to the fraction as 2 and 1/10. So totally, you have 2 1/10 tons of trash. They connect 2 1/10 tons of trash last week. Okay. So this one we're good. Okay, so now the last part is the unit of capacity. So what is capacity? So there are 5 unit of measurement. They are fluid ounces, cup, pint, quart, and gallon. Of course, ordered by the smallest unit to the largest unit. So now you want to know, hey, what's the conversion factor is? So 1 cup equals to 8 fluid ounces, 1 pint equals to 2 cup, 1 quart equals to 2 cups, 1 quart equals to 2 pint, and then 1 quart equals to 4 cups and 1 gallon. Okay, this is way too complicated. Let's do it from the largest one to the smallest one. So we're 1 gallon. And then the next unit would be quart. And then the next unit would be pint. After pint, we use cup. And then after cup, we have fluid ounces. Okay, so from fluid ounces to cup, you need to what? I have to do the opposite. From the smallest one to the largest one. No. Yeah, that makes sense. Sorry. This is right. 1 cup equals to 8 fluid ounces. So you times 8 from cup to fluid ounces. So 1 pint equals to 2 cup. So 1 quart equals to how many cup? Well, 1 quart, it tells you that equals to 4 cups. Right? And then also 1 quart equals to 2 pints. And then 1 gallon equals to how many quart? 1 gallon equals to 4 quart. So that means the conversion factor is 4228. I know it's not like they don't have a sequences. They're not follow some sequences. So it's really hard to remember, but try your best to remember it. It's 4228. 1 gallon equals to 4 quart. 4 quart equals to 2 pint, and then 1 pint equals to 2 cup, and then 1 cup equals to 8 fluid ounces. Because of that, then you can convert it easily between the units. So 1 gallon equals to how many pints? Well, you times 4 and then times 2, so totally is times 8. So that's why 1 gallon equals to 8 pints. Or the other way, 1 gallon equals to 1 gallon equals to how many cups? So here you need to times 4 and then times 2 times 2. You totally need to times 16. So that's why 1 gallon equals to 16 cups. As long as you know this chain or this conversion chain, you don't need to remember all of this because you know how does this work. Okay. So now let's do this one. How many pints is a gallon? So from gallon, to pin is a large unit to a smaller unit. Now look at the chain. From gallon to pin, we need to times 4 and then times 2, right? Let me erase some of these. So we turn to from gallon to pin, we want to times 4 and times 2. So totally is times 8. So for gallon, we have 2 and 3/4. So that means total is 2 times 4 is 8, 8 plus 3 is 11/4 gallon. And then you want to times 8. So cross cancel, you have 22 pins. Okay, next one is how many gallons equals to fluid ounces. Again, we have fluid ounces, and then you want to convert it to gallon. And then from a smaller unit to a larger unit, you want to divide it by the conversion factor. So look, fluid ounces to gallon. Ooh, that looks like a lot here, all over everything. So you have 4 times 2 times 2 times 8. So that's equals to 16. This is 16 times 8, which is 19.6. Okay, so the conversion factor is 19.6. You want to divide it by 19.6. So fluid ounces, we have 13.2 fluid ounces divided by 19.6. So that is equal to 13.2 over 19.6. Simplify, you both can divide it by 8 at least. So you have a 4 and then 12. And now you can all both divide it by 4. So you have 1/3. Oh, I must do something wrong. $16 times 8 is not equal to 19.6. Oh my god. This is equal to 128. I'm sorry. So that means you may find out already earlier than me, but so this is 128. So we have a 13.2 over 128. And now let's simplify it. They can both divide it by 4. If I don't know the answer right away, I have 8 over 114.2. Okay, 8 and 14.2, they can divide it by. Did I miss something? Oh, this is divided by 4. This is 13.3, 13.2. Sorry. And then we both divided by 8, you have 1/4. So that means 13.2 fluid ounces equals 1/4 gallon. Okay, I am going to skip this. By now, you should be okay. Oh, okay, this one is interesting. Like, Sven and Joanne were hosting a potluck dinner. They do not ask their guests to tell them what they would be bringing, and 3 people ended up bringing soup. Erin brings 1 quart, Richard brought 3 pins, and LeVar brought 9 cups. Wow, they used different measure. And how much soup did they have in total? So again, there's many ways to do it. I would usually want to use a bigger unit to convert into a smaller unit because you just need to times some number. So you have a 1 quart, 3 pins, and 9 cups. I want to convert them, all of them, to cups. So okay, now take a look. Our conversion changed from quart to cup. We have what? Times 2 times 2. So that means you want to times 4. So in here, you want to 1 quart equals to 4 cups. And then pins. From pins to cup is times 2. The easiest one, 1 pin equals to 2 cups. So now we go back here. 3 pins equals to 6 cups. So totally would be how many cups? 4 plus 6 plus 9 totally is 19 cups. Ta-da! Haha. Again, so for this type of question is, if they have different unit, they ask you the total amount. You will try to convert the different unit into one unit. You can choose pins, you can use quart, you can use cups, you can even use gallon. That's totally fine. For me, I will always try to convert in the bigger unit to a smaller unit because that's easier to calculate. Okay, I'm gonna skip that one. And let's do these questions. Alan is making chili. He is using a recipe that makes 24 cups of chili. He has 5 quart pots and a 2-gallon pot, and is trying to determine whether the chili will fit one of these pots. Which pot will fit the chili? Well, this one is not hard as long as you convert the 5 quart pot and 2-gallon pot into cups, and then you will know, hey, which one can fit 24 cups of chili. Okay, 5 quart. From quart to cup, look at the chain. From quart to cup, we need to times 4, right? So with a 5 quart times 4, which is 20 cups. And gallon to cup. So gallon to cup is times 4 times 2 times 2, so totally is times 16. So 1 gallon equals to 16 cups. Okay. So now you have a 2-gallon. So 2-gallon is what? 2 times 16, which is 32 cups. So which one fits 24 cups of chili? The second one, right? The 2-gallon pot. So that means we want to choose the 2-gallon pot. Okay, so that's it for chapter 5.1. I'll see you next time.